first down. They hand off to Marlon Mack. Huge hole, 50-yard line. He's at the 40, still going near sideline. He's at the 10. He's at the 5, and he will score. Touchdown, Marlon Mack. Touchdown, INDY. And again, it's picked up. It's Darius Leonard. Leonard with his second INT, and he's streaking down the near sideline. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's going to go. A pick six for the Maniac.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Bring the Juice podcast. I'm your host, Cody Felger. Joining me, your other host, Mr. Derek Larger. And we're joined by a very special guest today, Indianapolis Colts wide receiver, Zach Pascal. Zach, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you guys for having me. What's up, Colts Nation?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, Zach, 2019 was a pretty good season for you after, obviously, coming to the Colts in 2018. 2019, you got a little more playing time, right? Obviously, you never want injuries to happen. T.Y. Hilton had some injuries. Devin Funchess obviously had injuries, and Paris Campbell had injuries. So you got the opportunity to really be the main target for the Colts offense in 2019. What was that experience like for you?
It was good. I mean, it went from literally not getting any targets the first two games to literally getting almost half the targets. It felt pretty good. It helped me raise my confidence, get my feet wet in the league, and I'm just excited for what's to come in the future.
That's cool, man. So, look, in many Colts fans' eyes, I know I can speak for Cody and myself. We've seen what you've done, and you've exceeded a lot of expectations from us, and we look forward to continue to see what you do from this point on. What are some expectations that you have going into 2020 for you specifically? Is there a goal in mind that you want to hit?
I definitely have a goal. I want to hit the Pro Bowl. I know it's
all right.
It's a pretty deep expectation for a lot of people, but that's the type of expectation I have for myself, the type of goals that I want to have for myself, just to, continue to grind and have something to look forward to and have something to play for, and besides my teammates, and just being able to try and continue to grind and continue to work and continue to have something to play for, like as far as goals and reaching for something.
Absolutely. And Zach, obviously this year is going to look a little bit different in terms of, fans and all that stuff. I'm curious from your experience, especially being, with the Colts the last few years, how is it going to feel? How's the feel going to be different, I guess, with no fans in the stadium or very minimal fans in the stadium this year as opposed to the last 2 years?
Well, it's definitely going to be different. You're not going to have that home advantage, with the crowd and stuff like that. But I feel as though as a team, if you have a goal in mind, which is to win the Super Bowl, as long as we're able to play, that's exciting itself, being able to motivate yourself and not having to rely on, the crowd noise and everything going on. But it's definitely a adversity, that people are going to have to deal with. And I'm all about adversity, being an undrafted free agent. You deal with a lot of adversity in different areas. So I'm just excited to see how everything plays out.
Yeah. So Zach, you talked about being undrafted. I kind of wanted to talk about your 2017 season, your first season, being undrafted, going to Washington, then being waived before the season starts. You signed with Tennessee, then waived after that season. Now you found your way with the Colts, and you've established yourself amongst this wide receiver corps. How difficult was that for you, getting thrown around that first year, and what can you take from that? What kind of a learning experience is that for you?
Well, playing sports my whole life, I never got, cut or released from anything. So being able to go to Washington and then, getting released, it was definitely a difficult time. But I didn't spend too much time, being sad about it, because the next day I got picked up by Tennessee. Tennessee on P Squad, it was definitely a learning year, being able to learn how to, handle yourself as a pro, what you need to do in order to make the team and establish yourself in this league. You kind of see the politics behind things, and you got to just understand that, hard work is going to get you to wherever, you need to go. And after being released from Tennessee and coming to the Colts, I told myself I would never want to, be on practice squad again. I'm going to work for everything I have. And just being able to be mentally strong. You got a lot of, ups and downs in your paths. If you go down, are you strong enough mentally to, go back up? And I was able to learn that, throughout my time getting to this point.
Gotcha. So, Zach, I got to ask you this. You've probably been asked by a bunch of people this already, but I have to ask you about Andrew Luck. So we obviously know what happened last season when the Andrew Luck news broke out. That was very hurtful for a lot of Colts Nation. How did you find out about the news? When did you first hear about it, and what was your reaction right away when you heard that?
I found out about it. I want to say we was playing one of the preseason games. I think we was playing.
Yeah, I think it was
Bears.
against Chicago. I think.
So the Bears, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was
so
the
probably
Bears.
The Bears. I heard a fan say. I heard it from a fan first. I heard a fan say.
Really?
Yeah, yo, Andrew. I heard a fan say, "Yo, Andrew, is it true? Is it true? Are you retiring?" And in my head, I'm like, "Well, fans say crazy stuff all the time, so he's probably just, tripping." And then I sat down next to Jacoby, and I was like, "Yo, Jacoby, like, do you hear this? Do you hear this guy, yelling about Andrew retiring?" And he was like, "Yeah, Andrew's retiring." And I was like, "Oh wow, wow, I didn't know. I had no clue." But I was happy for him, because he made a decision, for him. He's done a lot for the team. He's the first guy in the locker room, last guy out. He does he goes far and beyond for his teammates, and he does the extra little things. So for him to make that decision for himself and to finally, do something that he wanted to do, it was happy for me. It was exciting.
Gotcha.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's interesting to hear that you heard that from a fan. That must have been a really big shock.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then obviously, going from Luck to this last year to Jacoby Brissett, and then now this year, Phillip Rivers. First off, I'm kind of curious. You haven't really been able to do much with him in person. They've been able to have different meetings with Phillip Rivers. What kind of impression have you gotten from Phillip Rivers, and how do you think it's going to help? Just from based off of what we've heard about him, kind of taking control of the meetings. How do you think it's going to help with your guys' chemistry moving forward?
Phillip is a very smart guy. I mean, we've had a couple throwing sessions. Me, him, Paris, and Jack. We done had a couple 7-on-7 sessions with him, and you can tell this guy is on it. Phillip Rivers is on it. He's definitely a vet presence in that huddle. He can command, what he wants to command. He can lead the offense to different formations or different plays that he wants, and it'll work. And it's good to have that vet presence in there, just to keep all the young guys, mentally focused on what was going on. I remember in 2018, me being my first year playing, and Andrew was that, vet presence for me, helping guys learn to play, making sure guys was on point with everything they're doing. There was no, slight little miscues on things like that. So to have a vet quarterback in that huddle is a positive thing.
Gotcha. So, so Zach, you've seen this offseason, the Colts have had a lot going on. The Colts were one of the first teams to actually make some offseason news. You guys traded that first rounder for DeForest Buckner. You guys signed Xavier Rhodes, and then the draft comes around. You guys got Michael Pittman, another wide receiver to work alongside, adding Jonathan Taylor and a bunch of other guys. You have Phillip Rivers. So this team has seen a lot of different bodies coming in this year, a lot of different potential. What's that been like for you? Is the locker room felt kind of – I know you guys haven't necessarily been in the locker room too much yet, but, like, as the team itself, has there been a different vibe? Has there been, like, a vibe of positivity going into this season, unlike what last year was?
Of course, and that just comes with the culture of the whole locker room. I mean, we were ready to embrace anybody, that joins our team, our family, and seeing all the picks and all the signings that we got, it was exciting to me because it's like, wow, like, we could really make some shake with the roster that we have. But yeah, like I said, it was all positivity, like in the team meetings on Zoom, getting to know guys, being in separate, like they would split us up into separate rooms, just us 3 or 4, just so we can, get to meet, everybody and learn everybody's names and, finding ways to interact with each other. So it was a positive vibe.
One quick, Cody, before I let you ask something here. So when Rivers was signed, I know a lot of people were wondering how Jacoby Brissett might feel. I don't know if you actually got to like talk with him personally after that news broke out, but Frank Reich said he's been a trooper about it. He understands that this is all to help the team win, and Jacoby Brissett knows that. Is that what Jacoby Brissett's been saying? How's he handled, Phillip coming into town?
Well, first off, Jacoby Brissett is a hard worker. First and foremost, I've seen different adversity come towards him. I remember there was a year 2017. I think he was the starter.
Yeah.
And then Andrew Luck came back, and he was just continuing to work. Last year he was a starter, and now Phillip Rivers is coming, and he's still working. And me and him have throwing sessions. He's still on top of his, he still has the same mindset as if he was a starting quarterback because, you never know. Anything could happen, right. And he may have to be back in there. So he approaches the game like a pro. He approaches every adversity like a pro. In this situation, he's handling like a pro for sure.
Yeah. A little more lighter topic now. I'm curious, Zach, what was your favorite moment from last season? I know my favorite one was probably that Houston game. It seems like you always have really good games against Houston. That front flip somersault into the end zone, that was a really sweet play. I don't know if it hurt, but I'm curious for you, what was your favorite play from last year?
My favorite play, I would have to say my favorite play from last year had to be the Steelers. We was driving down to go – I want to say we was driving down to go kick a field goal. It was at the end of the game, and I caught a pass on the sideline and had to put both feet in on the sideline. I had to do some footwork on the sideline. That game, I think I had 2 catches like that. That was probably my favorite play from last year, for sure.
Yeah. I did want to ask you about T.Y. Hilton. We haven't really gotten a chance to dissect T.Y. Hilton's mind, but you know him just as well as anybody on this team. He obviously said that, this next contract, whenever he gets a new contract extension, it's probably going to be the last one that he has because he wants to retire at some point. Take us through the mindset of a T.Y. Hilton. We know he's more of a show rather than a tell kind of guy. Take us through T.Y. and what he's done to be that leader in the wide receiver room so far.
T.Y. is definitely somebody who's not going to verbally, be a leader, but he will definitely show you why he is one of the leaders on this team. T.Y. is the definition of a pro, a definition of a hard worker, a definition of doing the right things and being where you're supposed to be at the right time. For me to come in and see a guy like T.Y. every day in the treatment room, in the weight room, and then it shows out on the field why he's so great. And I've learned from T.Y. a lot, just learning football. He'll sit down and talk to me about where I'm supposed to be on certain routes, what I'm looking for. And that year it was him and Andrew. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning from him and Andrew, but more importantly him because he's in the room. But just learning how to take care of your body throughout a whole season. I feel as though he understands that, and he understands how to be a pro, and he could teach that to all the young guys.
Yeah, and I'm curious off of that. Obviously, last year was not, T.Y. Hilton. He hasn't really missed very many games, so this last season was kind of an anomaly in certain ways. How big of a chip do you think T.Y. Hilton is going to carry this season, especially after this last season? We know how fierce of a competitor T.Y. is. Our podcast is named Bring the Juice. Do you think he's going to be able to bring that kind of juice again?
Facts. This year you're gonna see a lot of this.
All right.
Of this.
I hope so.
I promise. You're gonna see a lot of this year. Just knowing the competitive passion that he has. I know he's in the off season grinding hard. Trying to be able to play all 16 games this season. So I can't wait. I already know he's coming with the juice. So I'm trying to match one of the leaders on the team and step up to his level of competitive. competitiveness.
How has Michael Pittman been? Because I mean, we've seen I've seen some of his YouTube videos that he does, and the dude's awfully funny to look at, and a lot of people say that same thing. How's Michael Pittman been adjusting with everything that's going on and adjusting to the new team?
Well, being on the team meetings on Zoom and having our little 7-on-7 sessions, he's like a sponge right now. You know, he's just absorbing all the information that he can. And being out there running routes and stuff, he actually looks good, and he actually knows what he's doing and being in the right spots at the right time. And I'm excited to see what he's able to do this year. I mean, he's just like a sponge, and he's just taking all the information, and there's a lot of information being thrown at him, and he's doing a good job at that.
Yeah. Gotcha. I did have one random question to ask you. It's unfootball related, but if you don't mind me asking, when's your birthday? Because I was looking this up before we started this. When's your birthday? What month? What day?
December the 18th.
Okay, thank God that Google didn't lie. That's my birthday too. I looked it up.
Really?
I was just like, I'm wondering what else can I find out? And then it showed up. I was like, that is so funny.
Oh,
I was like,
wild.
that is hilarious.
Wow, that's cool.
Small world we live in, for real.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, I had one more question also. I'm curious, you know, obviously we're always wanting to improve, you know, us as a podcast and you as a player. What are some things that you want to improve on going into this season? I mean, you had coming off a very productive season. You led the team in yards. What are some things that you think you can continue to improve on and that you want to improve on going into 2020?
I would say my game overall, just being more efficient at the top of my routes, change the direction, being more efficient at the release, you know, if I'm getting pressed, and just being a better teammate. You can always find ways to be a better teammate, and help other guys get better as well, just by, you know, taking the time out just to reach out and help them on anything that they need help on. I would say that's three of the things that I would want to get better on this season. Yeah, so stuff like that.
I got one more thing, Cody, here. So we've seen the documentaries on YouTube of this team being as cohesive as a unit as any in the NFL. Reich and Ballard have been saying that religiously. You know, there's a lot of uncertainty this year for football and just with Colts in general. What's one message you're going to give to Colts Nation about this team and what we can expect from you guys in 2020?
You will see this year. You will see a bunch of guys that have worked very hard this offseason. I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen it in person. I've seen it on the phone. You will see a bunch of guys that work very hard this offseason with the same mind and the same goal. And we're gonna put on our best performance to obtain that goal this year as a unit. You know, I feel as though this team is my second family, you know, and being out there with those guys it's amazing. And knowing that we all have that same goal and same mindset to go out there and win, it should be fun. It's going to be a fun year with all of us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Zach. We really appreciate your time, man, coming on the podcast, talking some
football,
you guys. Talking some live. Yeah, best of luck this season, man, and hopefully we'll see you in the Pro Bowl.
Appreciate it. You guys be safe.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yes, sir.